side. Okay, so what happens with that is that hanging turns into a left Oberhaw at your right side. Oftentimes, if you try for this hanging parry, if they're fast enough, they come under your sword, hit you on the elbow, hit you in the chest, hit you on the hand. So to change that, instead of always going into this parry, you can also change it to this parry. This you can call modified ox, or not ox, modified plow, whatever you feel like. This parry. From here, there are two things you can do. You can cut to the hands after you stop their momentum, which is a lower cut right here, with a side step, or you can twist up into a thrust with a side step. Immediately after both of those, you're going to want to cover. On the thrust, you just pull back out, compass step, keep your sword in front of your face. Should be fine. It works for me all the time. The other one that you can do for a parry, or for a defense, is voiding immediately after your hand snipe. So, if you've parried here, hand snipe, run through, you can raise into a hanger at the end if you want. What that looks like is, if you're setting this up to engage with, and if you want to practice on your Pell, to make sure you have the right distance. First thing is, step with the cut at your target, make sure that your feet are in the right spot, move into that parry, because after you cut, they're going to be swinging at your head, at your arm very quickly. Move here, light the hands with the side step, follow through with the passing step. Again, cut, parry, cut, escape. And by cut, I mean hew or cast. This is a casting cue. Parry, tag hit, hand snipe, escape. I don't like the word cut. Again. The thrusting one, parry. On this one, you don't always have to parry on the short edge here. Oftentimes, this one works better if they're aiming a little bit higher, so you just need your flat in the way. And then you can wind your long edge out into this thrust, cross hands, wrists basically touching each other. Side step, it's just a little stab, compass step, sword up to defend your face. Parry, thrust, parry. If it gets stuck in the Pell, sometimes it's hard to actually go into this parry, and it's easier to move into a hanging point. For Pell work, that's fine. If it's an actual fight, you're going to want to, on that thrust, pull out and get it up here. If you try to go into a hanging parry, you expose your arms, you get hit right here. If you try to go into this hanging parry, you have no defense. They're just going to crush you. So you need to keep your sword on your right side as you retreat. Cut, parry, thrust, escape. It's very hard to actually hit a Pell that's about, 4 to 6 inches wide, but that's a good thing. This works the same on both sides. The difference is the footwork. So instead of having an entering cut here, you're going to be having a gather, simple, cut to this side. This can be either at the head or at the arm. In practice, often you're going to be leaning far to the left to get your head out of the way of their target. You want to be under their sword if they're throwing a right Oberhaw. If they're throwing a left Oberhaw, you're happy. If they are just parrying, you're happy. What can happen is if they get a good parry here, same as the opposite play, they'll be coming on this side instead of this side. So you parry here, sidestep, cut the hands, escape. Gather, cut, parry, cut, run. And by cut, I mean hew. I'm trying to break myself of that habit and failing. Can also be considered a type of duplirin. On this one in particular, I do like the hanging parry after. Oh shoot. Bad habits. Well, not bad habits, but that is the typical one, right? If you cut this, you can go into this parry and bring it through. That's the one we started with before. All right, now the thrust on that side. Gather, cut, parry, thrust, back down low, depending on the hands. If after this thrust, you raise up, they'll hit you here, they'll hit you here. If you're here, they hit here, they hit here. You don't worry about your legs. If you're moving correctly and you're moving fast, your legs will be out of the way. Hew, parry, arm, escape. Grass. Hew, parry, thrust, compass step. Hew, parry, thrust, sidestep, compass step. Hew, parry, thrust, parry. Works the same on both sides, except the footwork is different. Gather here for your left Oberhaw for starting. Parry on this side, cut to the hands, escape. Same thing with the thrust instead. Gather, cut, parry, thrust, sidestep, compass step. Keep your sword in front of your face to parry.